Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be discussing the TOEFL and IELTS exam and specifically about the scores, okay? So I want to make sure to answer 3 questions in this video. First is the TOEFL and IELTS score important towards your application? Second question is, does a high TOEFL and IELTS score really help you a lot? Does it really matter? And the third question is, how much is a good target score to aim for in the TOEFL or IELTS exam? So the first question is, is the TOEFL and IELTS important, or rather, why is it important? Okay. So these exams are called English language proficiency exams. So they sort of measure how well you can read, write, listen, and speak English, right? And since the program that you are going to is probably going to be, taught in English, they need to make sure that you are understanding, that you understand what the teacher is talking about, that you can write some awesome essays for your classes, write some scientific papers and all that. You can speak and listen to your classmates, you can communicate with others. And on top of that, they need to know that you have strong communication skills so that after the program, you're actually able to get a job and, start working and so on. That's the main reason, and of course they have the side reason, which is it's required for visa purposes. So if you're trying to immigrate into an English-speaking country, then of course you're going to have to prove your English language proficiency. So the second question is, does a high IELTS or TOEFL score even matter for your application? Now, the good news or bad news, depending on how you take it, okay? The news is that no, it does not really matter at all, right? So IELTS and TOEFL scores are simply used as cutoffs. Okay. So if you meet the cutoff or if you cross the cutoff, then you'll be considered for admission. They'll look at your GPA, GMAT, and so on. Whereas if you don't meet the cutoff, then it's highly likely that they'll just scrap your application altogether. Okay, because that's the bare minimum they have. This candidate needs to speak this much English at least in order for them to be able to be admitted to our program. So if you don't meet that English language proficiency criteria, then you won't be considered for the program at all, right? And having a great amazing TOEFL score 120 out of 120 in TOEFL or 9 out of 9 in IELTS is not going to help your application at all, right? Because it's just the cutoff. Once you clear the cutoff, then that's it. They don't care about your score anymore. It's not like the GRE or your GPA, where the higher the number, the better your chance of getting in. That's not true for IELTS and TOEFL at all. All you have to do is just meet the cutoff. And third question is, what is a good IELTS and TOEFL score? Okay, so now for this, what I've done is I've just sort of looked at the cutoffs of different universities. All right, let me explain. So for TOEFL, most university cutoffs are in the range of 90 to 100, okay? Some universities have cutoff of less than 90, and then very few universities have cutoff of greater than 100, very few universities, very specific programs and all that, okay? So if you get a score of 100, right, you should be eligible for about 95% of the universities out there. If you get a score of 105, then you should be eligible for 98, 99% of universities out there, okay? So therefore, I would say that 100 is a decent target for your TOEFL exam, and then 105 is a good, strong target. So if you get a 105, then you should be in the clear. Even if you get 100, you should be able to apply to most of the programs out there. Now, a lot of universities will also have section-wise cutoffs, which means that if you get an amazing TOEFL score, but then your reading section, you got some 12 or something, then they're not going to admit you, right? So some universities have section-wise cutoffs. So for section-wise cutoffs, what I usually recommend is that getting a 22 out of 30 is a decent target, okay? And getting a 24 out of 30 is a good target. So if you get a 22, you should be able to apply to most universities. If you get a 24, you should be able to apply to nearly all universities. By section-wise, I mean, of course, that each section reading, listening, speaking, writing, so on. Now for IELTS, most university cutoffs are in the range of 6.5 to 7.5. Very few universities have a cutoff of less than 6.5, right? And almost no universities have a cutoff of higher than 7.5, which is really weird. I was quite surprised by that. Now for IELTS target score, I would say, getting a 7.0 is a decent target. You should be able to apply to most universities out there. But then getting a 7.5 is a good target. You should be able to apply to nearly all the universities out there. And of course, for section-wise, I would say getting a 6.0 out of one section, again, it's the minimum, right? So a minimum 6.0 in one section is a decent target, but then 7.0, minimum score in a section, is a good target. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned about the importance of the TOEFL and IELTS score. Make sure that you're subscribed for more graduate program related information. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.